Hey folks, so this is an updated guide on the enhancement profit calculator. Now the reason I've decided to do this is because, as you can see, there's been a lot of changes since my original video on this. So I decided to basically make a new video to try and go over everything. So that you don't have to be basically watching like 5 videos to understand what's going on. So the first thing that you want to do is go file, make a copy. I've already done this just so that I can show off basically what you need to do rather than changing things in the main spreadsheet just in case people want to copy whilst I'm doing things. So the first things first, you want to come to your prices. Now with this, you're going to want to change your region to whichever region that you are. And then once you've changed your region, change your language as well. And then you'll have to wait a moment until it updates everything. This means it's the language that you need to type in. It will not change everything on every sheet. So then after that, you want to come here if you are full on just starting off to work out the prices for how many Reblath or militia that you're going to be using. So just enter this, like the numbers that you want. So if you want 24 Pry 2 Tets, this is how much it's going to cost. So this is just like to get the amount of costs. Sessions calculator, you can kind of ignore this for now. It's just kind of let's see how much money you made making this many cactum rings, for example. And then selling them. Then the Black Star, this is for making profit on Black Stars. It's a bit of a complicated one, so we'll get back to that. Ulster's Reblath Failstacking. Now this is the most important one, and it has been changed around quite a lot since the original. So we now have the prize stack just here, so you select whichever one you want to do for your prize. You need to set the price of your Blackstones. Then you want to also set the price of your concentrated Blackstones, price of your Valk's Cry, and your Origin of Dark Hunger. Now, they're probably not going to be used, but I've left them here for people that want to use them. Now, the base chance is going to be the up to +5 that you have from doing quests. If you don't have any, put it to 0. Otherwise, put it to wherever you're at. Valk's Cry, this is where you set how many Valk's Cry that you're going to add. So I can put up to 13, and then it'll change here. As you can see, it goes from 99 to 112. If I just say I'm going to be using 10, it'll go from 99 to 109. Now, the reason I've got it at 10 is for this stack over here to get that to a 110 stack. It also updates the prices. So then, carrying on down this side, this is basically for balancing out your stacks. So, to make one Tet stack, it takes 3.33 try and 8.23 duo stacks. Now, obviously, you can't make 0.23 or 0.33 of a stack every time you're going to make one Tet stack, so I just round it up. And then if you want to do pen stacks, so if you wanted to build pen stacks, you would basically times these all by 8. But you'd times the 3.33 by 8 and then round up, and rather than doing the 4, otherwise you're just going to end up with a lot more stacks than you need. Now, this then will take the produced from these. So it's a case of each one has its own amount of duos and prize and everything that it makes. Sorry, I made a mistake somewhere that needs to be fixed, but we'll ignore that. So then this will say, okay, so if I was to make 1 Tet stack, 4 Tri stacks, and 9 Duo stacks, I would have 3.93 duos left over. I would be down by 0.16 tries, up by 0.33 Tets, and I'd have 0.06 pens. And this is of the Failstacking Reblath gear. I use Militia right now, but either one is fine. Now, this bit here is basically saying, well, okay, so if you are short on tries, it's going to be upgrading the tries to like force enhance to make sure that you don't lose out. And then down here, it tells you the whole cost of making this many stacks. And that's basically how that works. So then what you want to do over here is you want to make sure on each one, I'll just quickly correct this, do stack. Each one of these, you want to make sure they've got the correct stat. So for duos, you go to a 40 stack. It is advised. Whenever you drag these down, like if you want to add extra ones, you just grab all this, go down, and then it'll update. You can change your repair cost if you're going to do your repairs on something else that's going to cost more money. But here you basically just drop down, select if you're going to do a pry, duo, try. It all updates with it. Valks if you're going to put some Valks in. Dark Origin of Dark Hunger. Dim, sorry, and then a normal origin, and it'll tell you that you can't with these because you're not allowed. So then you can go back onto prize. I've even got plus 14s in there as well, just in case you want to use them. So it works the exact same on these. The plus 14, you get a little red thing. You can ignore that. It's fine. But basically, with trying to get this to be as balanced as possible, means you can continue doing it without worrying about being short on items that you have to click. Now, the thing to be aware of with this is even one small change can change all of it. So let's just put this to try. Then all of a sudden, you're massively down on tries. You're up on tets by quite a lot. I mean, 2 tets per time. You can end up with way too many tets. So you can just change that try back to a tet. And then it's balanced again really well. This is because I've got plus 4. You can't really copy it exactly as mine, the same as mine. So let's say we put a duo in here. You'll see this completely goes out of whack. Minus 16 duos, which now means you're going to have to spend 367 million on forcing duos to keep it perfect. Or you could change the amount of stacks that you make, but obviously this is balanced so that you have the right amount of stacks per tet. So you'd be able to make 9 duos to make, technically it's 8 duos to make 4 tries, but 9 because it's the averages. And then 4 tries will make you 1 tet. Technically 3.33, but still. Then once you've got this sorted out, this will then tell you the profits. So for here, you need to check whether you have a value pack, your family fame bonus, which is found on the screen when you press P in game. I'll show you that right now. So if you go press P, then the family fame is this one on this end, and then it's the 1,000, 4,000 to 7,000 are the different tiers. And then if I just jump back into the spreadsheet, so here you can tick whether you're using cronstones, but as you can see, turning on cronstones, you don't make profit on much. Although, bear in mind, if you turn off cronstones on some of the lower ones, it will increase the prices on the higher ones. So you do just need to fiddle around, see which tiers are best for clicking. In fact, it looks like even on Deboreka, you don't actually make much more money with crons, except for Tet. So then here is where you change the chances. So if you're using a higher price stack, the chance will be higher, just in case you want to do different stacks rather than the recommended ones. And in here, you can change the name to whatever accessory you need. So put the actual name and it will update. So as you can see down here, it's got a rainbow coral ring. If I change this to red coral ring, you'll see the prices change. There you go. All of it changed. Now this Manus ring is a special one at the bottom. You can either fiddle around with it, look how it works, or just remove it. So then, to explain this a bit more, you've got your make and sell prices. This is going off the average price. It's not pre-order price or buyout price. It's the average price and the center price. So it's not entirely accurate. You do need to take that into account yourself. Now, if this is red, you're better off buying it from the market if that's the average price. So if you can buy it for 224, then it's worth buying it rather than making it yourself. Now that being said, that's if you bought this at average price to make this. So if it's green, you're better off making it yourself. You're going to save money. And then for an example with this, so it's cheaper to make your duo, but what it's doing is saying, okay, since it's cheaper to buy your pry, you're buying your pry and your base. Whereas this one, it's like, okay, so it's cheaper to make a pry and then go to duo. It goes, okay, we will buy basically 3 bases. It works out the averages. The averages are all up here. But basically it goes, okay, so if we're taking a base, then we need to go from base up to duo. So it takes into account whether you're buying or selling in buying or making, previous tiers. And then here it's basically, if it's green, you're making profit if you were to sell it at the average cost. And if it's red, you're making a loss. Simple as. But this takes it into account. So let's say with the Ring of Kadri, you make this much profit if you're making it from base, not from the previous tier. But that's because it is more profitable to make it from base. And then here you can change the cost of your cronstones as well, in case you're not buying them from the vendor crons. And then the last thing that I need to go over is the Black Star. Now, I do apologize. I just realized that some things might have been behind my camera, but if you open up the spreadsheet, you can follow along. So Artisan's Memory, you click this if you're going to be using Artisan's Memory. The Artisan's Memory cost hasn't been taken into account. I'm classing them as free because typically people don't buy them. If you have bought them, you can make it so that the cost is in there if you really want to. So what you put in here is the cost of your Pry Black Star, cost of your memory fragments, cost of your flawless blackstones for the clicks, cost of normal blackstones, and then the amount that you can sell it for, your base chance, and then this has got the same sort of thing for averaging it out, how many it takes to get to each one. And then what we're doing is for your Pry to Duo, you're doing the amount of taps that it takes to go to Duo, obviously. So this is a Pry. You want to put them all in as Pry, basically. And then put in the correct repair cost is worked out. You don't need to change this because it's going off the cost of repairing. It works out the maths itself. So basically how many memory fragments you need, whether your Artisan's memory is ticked or not. So you can kind of ignore that bit. It doesn't actually need to be green. I might just turn that off for this one. So then after that, you go, okay, we're doing duos. I have it going off your 44 stack on your Reblath thing, but you can change it yourself. You can edit it to something else. And then basically it's going to cost you 694 million to make a stack, but a stack would make 4.95 tries. So therefore it's 140 million per try. And then your TETS is going off a 150 stack. This I have set myself to say 150, it looks like. So that needs changing because that shouldn't have been 150. I'll have to fix that. It's actually taking the price from the TET stack, which is currently 110. It used to be 150 because I had basically put it down like this. You wouldn't be using Valks. It should be TETs. So I did do it like this to go to like 150. So it would have been to here. There we go. However, it's a case of if I quickly go into here, so it should be 152. I'm not sure when it's broke. I will fix it at the end of this video. It basically does update with that. The problem I have with that is all of this is taken into account into my balance, which it shouldn't be. So that's been removed whilst I'm fixing that. That will be fixed in a future update. So that's everything. Sorry this has been such a long video, but if you have found it helpful, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Ciao for now.